2014, rock outfit The Hotelier released an album titled Home Like No Place Is There. The album dives into themes of grief and suicide. This is a song about eating breakfast. But what do these two have in common? Well, they're both emo music. Emo is a genre so wildly varied that today I wanted to take a quick dissection of the music, style, and history of emo. But what is emo exactly? Emo, in the most broadest of terms, is a style of music focused around the raw emotions of young adults. Now, although there are no rules to making emo, it's usually made with the normal rock instruments, that being drums, guitar, bass, etc. Although if you're cool, you'll throw a harmonica in there.
Hey, but doesn't all music have emotion? What makes emo so different?
That's actually a really good question. I was just about to answer it. One word: delivery and presentation. You see, emo is a lot more visceral and unfiltered when it comes to getting its themes across. Does this make some of the imagery and lyrics a little bit heavy-handed? Yeah! But this bluntness only further illustrates the authenticity of the music. Here, let me give you an example. In Ogbert the Nerd's Get in the Robot, yes, that is the name, lead singer Madison James writes, "And one day you'll be saying, I don't hate you, we just don't talk much anymore." And if you didn't get the sentiment the first time, it's okay because it's repeated like 5 more times. Nothing is really left to the imagination. You know instantly how the singer feels, and it's such a niche emotion, especially coupled with the way it's delivered. It's just so raw. I don't hate you, we just don't talk that much anymore. I don't hate you, we just don't. It's not for everyone. But now that we know what emo is, where does it come from? Now, before I regale you with the history of emo music, which I'm sure you'd love to hear, I need to clarify something real quick. With emo music being so intrinsically tied to the emotions of young adults, the sound of it can change with each generation of the people who are making it. These are called waves. So if I ever refer to the second wave of music, that just means I'm referring to the second generation of people making this music. Got it? Good. Starting in the Washington, D.C. region, emocore was a subset of hardcore that was centered around the D.C. area. This music was gritty, rough, and heavy, a far cry from the emo we know today. Regional bands like Rites of Spring and Embrace really spearheaded this sound of first-wave emo within the heart of D.C. As time progressed, the sound began to move upwards to the Midwest. The heavy guitar riffs were replaced with a lot more twinkly and jazzy guitar playing, and there was a heavier emphasis on odd time signatures and other aspects of math rock at the time. There was also a lot more experimentation within the second wave, aptly titled Midwestern emo. Entering the 2000s marked the birth of the third wave. Third wave emo was a little confusing. It's the era where emo got a lot more mainstream due to early social media like MySpace and Facebook. All of this mainstream attention creates the dreaded emo pop. This is where we get bands like My Chemical Romance and Taking Back Sunday, and also, quick side tangent, people will argue about what is and isn't emo all the time, especially when it comes to the third wave. There's a whole hodgepodge of genres that get thrown around, like pop post-punk, post-emo indie, and emo-core pop. It gets really confusing sometimes. Hell, some people don't even think the third wave is emo at all. So I've devised a method to determine what's emo and what's not. Does the lead singer look like this? There you go. Tangent over. Third wave had a lot more pop influence than any other wave, so it sounded a lot more appealing to a mainstream audience, so to speak. It played heavily into that teenager angst aspect, which not a lot of bands had done, at least not to this degree of success. Many referred to the switch to the mainstream as the death of emo, which is why the early 2010s are commonly referred to as the emo revival. This new generation had an explosive underground scene, with bands taking inspiration from everywhere. A large part of it, though, was the fixation on Midwestern emo. Lots of revival bands use second wave as more of a bass line, while still holding some pop influence from late-stage third wave. Bands like Modern Baseball and the Front Bottoms went for a more mainstream approach, while bands like The World is a Beautiful Place and Glockamora went for a more math rock approach. But all the while, there was still massive experimentation throughout the genre. This is also the age where this tweet holds a lot of weight because, well, yeah, it's true. Look, man, I love their music, but that voice is gonna kill me one of these days, I swear.
It's the one. So, here's the one. Please don't hurt anybody.
And now we're here, the elusive fifth wave. This is an era of emo that's pretty difficult to describe because, well, we're in it currently. But what I can tell you is that the scope of what's been considered emo is so wildly expanded with fifth wave. With so many new sounds and ideas all under the same banner, 2 songs that sound completely different can still be labeled as emo.
Yeah, let's go! Yeah! Let's go!
I'm sure you can already tell by now, but there's been something I've been dancing around this whole video. See, we've talked about emo's evolution, and we've talked about the bands who produce the sound, but we have yet to talk about the people who listen to this music. I think it's a common misconception that everyone who listens to emo is just sad all the time, and that's kind of their personality. While that's true for some people, it's not for everyone. Every single quote-unquote emo kid I know is a delight to be around. They're more three-dimensional than certified sad boy since insert date here. They just happen to listen to some really depressing music. But for me personally, I feel an odd sense of hope when I hear Eric Butler whine about not having a girlfriend for the 17th time. Are there times where you just put on Nevermind and wallow in misery? Of course there are, but everyone does that. It's one of the 10 commandments of being an emo kid, right next to, defending abusers. That was a joke. Don't defend abusers, please. We don't like to do that here. People who do that are bad. Don't do that. So what was the point of this whole video? Well, I would say that my goal was to try to get more people into the music by removing the stigma around it. So many people think that, to listen to this music you have to be sad all the time, you have to dress a certain way, when in reality it's just another form of music you can enjoy. Of course, it's not every person's cup of tea, but if you enjoy the music, you should be able to listen to it without some superficial stigma in the way. Also, go listen to Poor Sports, dude. They're so good. Like, in my last film, I used them for the outro music, and with the 2 dudes. God, they're so fantastic, and not enough people listen to them, and I need someone to listen to them so that I can